Hi everyone, Empress Justice here. Listen, I'm not here to promote my readings. I'm here because there's a very, very serious situation going on with me and I need to actually talk about it. So what's going on is that I'm having my period right now on schedule, but the huge problem is that my uterine lining is falling out of me like lava. This is literally the heaviest flow I have ever had. I am wearing really heavy duty pads right now. None of them are helping. And it's getting to a point where I'm just fixed in my flat right now. I'm not moving because of how heavily I'm bleeding. Now, this actually happens to a lot of older women. It's happened to at least 2 older women. One well past menopause age and another one who has just come out of menopause. Actually, both of them are past menopause age, right? And they are having these heavy bleeding experiences, like literally in public places when they go on the bus, like literally blood is just falling out of them like lava, even though they don't have any periods. They go to the doctors, they run the tests, there's no sign of cervical cancer, nothing like that. Do you know what it is? It's the directed energy weaponry. So let's put this in perspective. I have had electronic weapons fired on me since I was a child. I don't know how long those other 2 older women have been having it fired at them, but does anybody feel like it's a little bit coincidental that so many women are heavily bleeding these days? And then what we're basically offered is birth control, which clots the blood in order to stop that bleeding from happening. Problem, reaction, solution. So basically, these problems are created in the first place by non-ionized radiation from the type of weaponry that gentleman in Canberra literally filmed and stumbled upon. Those types of weapons right there are the type of weapons that are causing what's going on right now with my period and what's being caused with a lot of women right now. Is that it was those same weapons that had me doubled over in pain in May 2021 or June 2021. It was those same weapons that had me doubled over in pain. Listen, this shit is no joke, okay? This is what these directed energy weapons do to people. They make people bleed, make women bleed profusely depending on what area or what part of the nervous system that a woman is fired on. It can make you bleed profusely even when you have no period. It's just that in my case, it's timed for my period. So I'm having my period at the same time I'm having this profuse, this really quite extensive bleeding. So I'm having that right around the same time I'm having my period. So from the outside looking in, it just looks like I'm having a heavy period when really directed energy weapons have been fired on my uterus just before my period in order to cause this to happen. Remember, I know of 2 women that have had the same thing happen to them as me, but they're well past the menopause age. They don't have cervical cancer, not as far as I know, and not as far as the tests that they've been taking, the blood tests, the ultrasound, everything else. I've had ultrasound and it turned out that I have fibroids, but to my knowledge, fibroids of this size or the size that I have them, they don't cause bleeding like this. And fibroids, just like fibroids can be caused by chemicals that are put on top of our head. I used to put chemicals in my head a lot. Just like it can be caused by bad diet, it can also be caused by non-ionized radiation. In fact, it's more likely to be caused by non-ionized radiation. So that's what's going on with me right now. What's going on with me right now is that I'm bleeding at a ridiculous amount. Now, the doctors have already prescribed me, contraceptive pills, which I'm not taking for the simple reason that instead of actually treating what the issue is, what they're doing is they're treating the symptom. Me having heavy bleeding is a symptom of something else. Now, in order to be able to treat the actual problem, you do need to treat the symptom temporarily, but that's not what's happening here. The symptom is being treated as the illness itself. I'm bleeding heavily, right? Fibroids is a part of what's going on, but directed energy weaponry is literally the reason why I'm bleeding so profusely right now. Because remember, I know 2 other women who have been through this. One is related to me, one isn't. One is black, one was black, one was white. They both reported bleeding, having their periods at a time where a woman should not be having her period. These are women who are post-menopausal age and they're still fucking bleeding, and they're bleeding even heavier than me in some cases. And yet they don't have cervical cancer. When they look on the ultrasound, there's no cervical cancer. When they look on their fucking, at their fucking bloods, there's no cancer. What's going on? So all of these phenomena that's happening to women, like all this heavy bleeding, are you absolutely sure that it's solely your diet? Are you absolutely sure that it is solely your lack of exercise? You need to look into the effects of non-ionized radiation as well, because it doesn't just happen with directed energy weaponry. It also happens with Wi-Fi. I have Wi-Fi, as far as I know. Yeah, I have Wi-Fi in my house. So all of these things, they're causing all these health problems. Also look into the effects of your soft tissue as well, because non-ionized radiation might also affect your soft tissue. Like I said before, I've got injuries with my soft tissue, the same as my mum and the same as my ex. What do all these people have in common? Think. What do all these people have in common? Now blood's coming out of me like lava. I don't think so, mate. I really don't think so. And then I got to go to the doctors, and I'm going to have to do this whole rigmarole of finding out what my, going to my ultrasound appointment, finding nothing but fibroids, and maybe not even big fibroids on top of that. Then I got to do a blood test. Yeah, I'm anemic, but there's nothing else proving anything else. And then I got to do like my urine test and all that type of shit. Nothing's coming out. It's very, very obvious. If I've got white blood cells in my pee, I've got detached retinas, my kidneys are fucking up, I'm bleeding profusely. All of that is radiation poisoning, and some of it deliberate. So I don't know what to do. Beyond like having a healthier diet, exercising more, but even exercising more. My ex exercises more than I do. And he had been having problems with this soft tissue for absolutely years. Me and him had been like, we've known each other for 9 years. And this man has had problems with his nervous system and his soft tissue since before me and him got together. So that's more than a decade. He's been having problems with his soft tissue. And he is active. He eats better than I do. And yet he has the soft tissue problem way more than I do. I didn't start having these soft tissue problems until like, my late 30s. He started having them like way back, in his fucking 20s. And he's healthier than me. If you look at him, he's healthier than me. And yet he started having soft tissue issues back in his 20s, because once again, some of these directed energy weapons, they attack bone. And I wouldn't be surprised if on the way to the bone, they also attack soft tissue. I hardly ever exercise. My diet is crap. And yet I didn't start having soft tissue issues until my late fucking 30s. Seriously, this is where you have to kind of connect the dots. So you have to realize exactly what's going on. And as for me having memory loss and, and confusion and shit like that, not only are the directed energy weapons eroding my brain, the Wi-Fi is also fucking my brain up. Jesus. People think this shit is a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. That like eventually you get tired of talking about shit that doesn't matter when all of this is going on. Yeah. What you eat is important. Like you see this movement of healthy eating and And all of that is so good to see. Like, you see this movement of healthy eating, of emotional accountability, all that. But the problem is that these truths of you've got to eat proper food, you've got to drink water, you've got to take care of your emotional health, you've got to rest better, all of these wonderful, wonderful developments that are coming out now in social media and in popular culture, all of these wonderful things that are happening, they're only happening to facilitate the cover-up of non-ionized radiation injuries. These are one of the reasons why I thought nuclear war might be a possibility, because I can't see any other way in which radiation injuries of millions of people would be covered up. I can't see any other way that the non-ionized radiation of millions of people would be spun or turn into something else. Like, I can't see a way forward of the truth being told about non-ionized radiation and the effects it has on the body without a nuclear war. I can't see that. I can't see the establishment telling the truth and saying, yeah, you know, we've been giving you Wi-Fi, and, you know, we've been poisoning your body with Wi-Fi, we've been poisoning your body with directed energy weaponry. I can't see them telling the truth about that until there's a nuclear war happening, or until there's something akin to that, so that then people can turn around and say, oh, well, this is how you treat radiation of the body. These are frequency jammers you can buy. You know, the way government and corporations work, because remember, private security firms are involved in this. Domestic and foreign intelligence agencies are involved in this. You've got massive corporations, especially defense systems, that are involved in this, and pharmaceuticals that are involved in this. You can't have any of those things come out and not have a way to financially benefit from what you've been doing to people. You can't have the truth coming out about yourself. You can't have the consequences of people finding out the truth and not have a contingency plan as to how you're going to recover your losses, or how you're going to profit off of your previous dishonesty. There's always got to be a plan. That's why there's a mass censorship of social media when it comes to talking about these issues. And unfortunately, a lot of people who are willing to believe, you know, the opposition to what mainstream media say, people who are willing to believe it and who are willing to believe the truth, they're about as well researched as the average person believing mainstream media. It's just a fact. It's just a fact of life. The people who take in countercultural media are about as educated as the people who take in mainstream media, i.e. not very. But because there's more money behind mainstream media, there's more believability behind it. There's more, do you understand what I'm saying? The more well-financed the system is the more reputable they are, and the more they're able to spin things for, you know, for people to be able to believe it. It's very easy for somebody to label somebody who believes in countercultural views as being delusional or even paranoid schizophrenic, because the funding isn't there yet. For what we've been talking about, for the non-ionized radiation, for the directed energy weaponry, it's not that the evidence isn't there. Nothing to do with that. The evidence has been there. The evidence has been there for decades. What it's lacking is the funding. That's all. That is all. I swear to God, that's all. All, you know, targeted individuals need is the funding. That's it. If we had the same, if mainstream media, if the media talking about targeted individuals and speaking the truth about non-ionized radiation and the effects on the body, if there were just as much funds into that as there were into mainstream media, the people, the ordinary people believing those theories and talking about them would have the same amount of credibility. It's all about economics. It's all about economics. I had to clean this shit up. It's all about economics. Do you understand what I mean? So, I had to talk about this. I couldn't let this slide. It's one thing for me not to talk about other people and what they're doing, but when it came to me and my fucking health, I had to say something. What is happening to me right now with regards to the blood loss that's happening, it is a ridiculous amount. This isn't cervical cancer, not yet anyway. And this is not fucking a normal period or a normal heavy period. It's not either of those things. It's non-ionized radiation, and it is deliberate electronic torture that's causing this. And then if I'm losing this amount of blood, then what happens to the bones? Women need that. Women need their iron. We need our iron and we need our calcium. If we're losing blood like this, what happens to our bones and soft tissue? And even then, because I'm not as active as some other people that I know going through this, you know, my injury to my soft tissue was slightly delayed because I wasn't as active. Because the way these directed energy weapons work is that if you get fired in certain parts of your body, the more active you are, the more it wears away at your bones. Bullshit. It's bullshit me having to go through this. Now I've got to order in to fucking eat. It's lucky that I got food here. Otherwise I would have to order in. I might have to order in the next few days. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, I've got to go. You guys take care. I could show you proof right now of how profusely I'm bleeding, but no, I'm going to leave that out. Take care. Peace.